Okay, so I just had what can only be described as a psychedelic trip using the Wim Hof breathing method, the Wim Hof breathing technique. It was short and intense. It lasted for maybe 10 minutes. And I went really deep into the breathing. And for anybody that is not familiar with the Wim Hof breathing method, breathing technique, just go look it up on YouTube. And I've made videos on it in the past. It's kind of hyperventilating, but there is like a retention phase to it, etc., etc. And I've always done the Wim Hof breathing techniques on and off, but this time around, I'm going deep and really, really sitting here and really just focusing on the breathing, right? So I've been using this blindfold when I do the breathing techniques. I've shown you guys this blindfold before in my video 5, how to do 5 dried grams of psilocybin mushrooms in silent darkness. You can still do mushrooms without taking mushrooms, if you put on some kind of a good blindfold and you go deep, and I mean really deep into the breathing. Really deep. I mean, I was rounds and rounds in. I stopped counting. So I had this blindfold on. This is complete darkness, right? It's complete darkness. And I kept breathing, round after round. And man. Fireworks started. Now, mind you, I have my eyes closed within this total darkness blindfold. Fireworks started to invade my third eye. Just boom, 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 boom. And it's all light, white light. And I'm talking about fireworks, right? I'm talking tick, tick, tick. It's like very bright lights. Very, very bright. I'm not talking about like a little bit. I'm talking about fireworks. Like imagine someone continuously flashed you with a flashlight, and the flashlight is really strong. And that's what it felt like. I was continuously being flashed by like some just white, beautiful light. And I moved into some sort of vortex, some sort of morphing geometric shapes, right? Kind of like the ones I've seen before on mushrooms and DMT. I've only done DMT once and I haven't broken through, but I've seen these morphing geometric shapes, and I've seen them today during the breathing. And I'm not high on psychedelics. I'm not. It's just the breathing. I saw the just morphing geometric shapes and bright colors, very bright colors. And then this is what happened. I burst out into tears. Because I felt like I was in the presence of love, and I felt like I was in the presence of unbearable compassion, and I started crying, right? This was after one of the rounds ended, right? You take the final breath, right? And I was sort of going through all this morphing geometric shapes, and the white lights just kept flashing me like a strong flashlight. And then I started crying. My tears just went down, and I had the blindfold on, right? Started crying because I felt like I'm in the presence of unbearable compassion, unbearable love, so unbearable that I just couldn't help myself but cry. And there is no reason for crying. It's just, when you're in the presence of something so magnificent, that gets you to tear up, that gets you to feel. And that's what happened. So I cried, and then I started laughing, because I think I was very fucking high on the oxygen, and I felt like I went to this beautiful place, and I try to control this as if I'm trying to control a mushroom trip. So I tried to go another round to make it more, but it disappeared. Like the lights disappeared, even though I tried to breathe really, 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 really hard on that next round, right? I wanted to control it like an egomaniac would. I wanted to like go and explore other realms or whatever. And I tried on the next breathing round, but I think spirit at that point told me you've had enough for today. Like I couldn't. The flashing lights went away, and the geometric shapes went away, and the tears stopped, and I felt I was coming back to normal consciousness, normal waking consciousness. This is a very intriguing experience because I haven't really experienced these kinds of experiences on the Wim Hof breathing before, because I haven't at any point in my life actually sat down and really, really focused. And I mean, I was breathing for, at that point that I was getting the visuals, and at that point I was getting the lights, and at that point I was in the presence of this unbearable love and compassion. I had been breathing for like 30 minutes. I don't know how many rounds I've gone through. So I've gone deep into it, deep. And I was motivated because I saw a video by the Iceman Wim Hof. And he talks about how DMT secretion using his breathing technique is possible. And he says he can do it at command, basically, if he goes deep enough into the breathing. The same thing goes for Stan, I can't remember his last name, Stan Gragov or some kind of a Russian last name, who does holotropic breathing. And he says the same thing. He says his patients that come and he treats them, they when they go deep enough into the breathing, an hour plus of doing the breathing, they come back and they report basically what any DMT user would report. So I've seen glimpses of that today. I've definitely seen glimpses of it. And although it was short-lived and only for a little bit, and I think even spirit told me you've had enough of it today, because I wanted to see more, I wanted to go further, but I couldn't. I think there is something to this breathing method. I think there is something. You know how I like to talk about cities here and opening the third eye and having superpowers and psychokinesis and telekinesis and seeing with a blindfold on and all of that. Well, I'm thinking the breathing technique, the breathing method, the Wim Hof breathing method might be a way to accelerate the opening of the pineal gland, the opening of the third eye, and consequently the opening of all these superpowers that come with it, like seeing into the future, premonitions in dreams, telekinesis, psychokinesis, psychic abilities, essentially, right? Man, I'm going to really take this Wim Hof breathing method as far as I can take it. I'm really glad I'm revisiting it again. Using this blindfold, honestly, going with this blindfold method of complete darkness breathing, it's really something. It's really something. I think I think Wim Hof is onto something with his breathing technique. I think he knows it. And I also think I'm onto something personally, on a personal level, with this breathing technique, because I don't know, I feel like if I keep going deep into it, I can get high on DMT at will if I go deep into it, because I've seen glimpses of that today, man. I've seen glimpses of it. It's unbelievable. So much so I had to make a video on it. I wasn't going to make any videos today. Or I was going to make some videos outside. I wasn't going to do anything to do with the Wim Hof breathing, but I'm so astonished by what just happened to me 20 minutes ago that I had to share it with you guys. Now, there are a lot of techniques and stuff that are helping me focus better, get better oxygen, more oxygen intake, and more focus in the moment, so that I can get the most of it, right? And we'll talk about those in other videos as well. I'll make another video doing the breathing, right? Doing the actual breathing, and telling you guys some tips and some things you can do to really get the most out of it. God bless you all, guys. God bless the Iceman Wim Hof, who is changing the world. Yes, dare I say, changing the world with his persistence, with his breathing method. And I think eventually, once we all get on this breathing method and we really maximize it and really get to see what it's all about, we can all get fucking high on psychedelics without using psychedelics. And that would be amazing. I mean, that's kind of, ever since I dabbled with psychedelics, still do dabble with psychedelics. It's not like I'm over. I don't see that day happening anytime soon. But ever since I've experienced that psychedelic state, I'm on a mission to become that psychedelic state without having to use psychedelics. And I think the Wim Hof breathing technique is one of the greatest ways to do that, combined with a total darkness blindfold. Really, I think I want to emphasize on that. Really, I think that's making a lot of difference for me. That's it. God bless you all, guys. I love every single one of you, but don't forget to subscribe, or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.